At RiffTrax, we've had the pleasure over the last decade plus of lovingly lampooning movies of all sorts, ranging from Hollywood blockbusters, charming B-movie schlock, to things you might even question as being a movie or not. Well, today, we're going to break down our best-selling riffs of each year for the last decade. Think you know which riffs came out on top? Keep watching and find out. 2012, The Guy from Harlem. To some, it may just be a slapdash blaxploitation film from the late 70s. To RiffTrax fans, it's the origin of the greatest room service order ever to be made. You can see why the CIA came straight to this guy to get the job done. With how it trades all the general grime and exploitation you see from the genre for straight-up goofiness, it makes total sense why this has endured as a RiffTrax fan favorite. 2013, Cool as Ice. It leaves you asking, is Vanilla Ice a better rapper or actor for all the wrong reasons? With the meteoric rise of Mr. Ice, you can understand why a studio might attach him to a movie in order to capitalize. What you probably won't understand is why it's this movie. He rides his motorcycle through a sleepy small town to sling schlongs and have Ronies all over the place. If you think that doesn't make any sense, don't worry, it doesn't to us either. 2014, Rotor. We've tackled our fair share of RoboCop and/or Terminator ripoffs over the years, and Rotor certainly has made more noise than two skeletons making love in a tin coffin. It is one of our favorite names in a movie ever, Barrett Coldiron, one of the silliest robots we've ever encountered, and did we mention needless tree explosions? There's just a whole lot to love about Rotor. 2015, No Retreat, No Surrender. Jean-Claude Van Damme, karate dojos, and breakdancing sidekicks? What doesn't this movie have? Well, a lot. But look at Jean-Claude doing all this cool karate stuff. It's a whole lot of Karate Kid in Rocky IV, minus the part where the kid learns karate from the ghost of Bruce Lee. Would you be surprised to learn that's not even the most unrealistic thing in this movie? It's worth a watch if only to see Jean-Claude Van Damme almost redeem himself for Street Fighter. 2016, Samurai Cop. He's a muscle-bound cop in an 80s wig with a bad-fitting baseball cap. Of all the movies we've riffed with the word cop in the title, Samurai Cop is in a league of its own. There's barely any samurai or cop activity going on, but you sure do have a lot of yarn lions and banana hammocks to look at, not to mention one of the muggiest sidekicks in RiffTrax history, as well as a villain played by fan favorite and weapons-grade chin owner, Robert Zadar. 2017, Ator, the Fighting Eagle. Miles O'Keefe, everyone's favorite cave dweller from the MST3K episode of the same name, is back and he's cave dwellier than ever. This installment informs us that the titular Ator wants to marry his sister, which, that's a decision movie. Luckily, a super cool evil spider priest kidnaps her to prevent this sister-wife arrangement. If you're hoping Ator is unsuccessful in his quest or that anyone will ever explain what the Fighting Eagle is, you'll be sorely disappointed. But as they say, it's the journey, not the destination. 2018, A Talking Cat? One of Eric Roberts' more embarrassing performances, and that sure is saying something. 2018 was the year that introduced us to everyone's favorite cat with a JPEG for a mouth, Duffy. He can talk, but only once, which might be for the best because his audio sounds like it was hastily recorded in an airport bathroom. What children's film needs charm or well-executed effects when you can have a cheese puff maker with arms akimbo and a house that has been used as the set for some, very different kinds of movies? Oh, and when you watch the riff, be sure to stay for the credits. 2019, Youre the Hunter from the Future. When you've got Blast Hard Cheese himself, Reb Brown, on board, you know you're in for a good time. Youre the Hunter from the Future is a charming look at a future where dinosaurs are back, and so are loincloths, baby! Reb is here to punch and yell his way through the runtime, and you know what? We're here for it too. With an over-the-top theme song, cheesy creature effects, and a ridiculous final act that will truly surprise anybody who didn't finish reading the title, this flick is truly an 80s cheese connoisseur's delight. 2020, Suburban Sasquatch. We've handled a lot of poorly constructed monsters in our days, but Suburban Sasquatch and his dinner plate-sized nipples might take the cake. In fact, I'm even sorry that you have to look at them right now. 2020 really was a rough year for everyone. Sure, he might not get even remotely close to the suburbs, but he sure does find a way to trudge through murdering all sorts of friends of the director. Honestly, there's too much arm-ripping, blood-chugging goodness to describe here. This is a special one. Really special. And finally, 2021, Gumby, the movie. MST3K in the past had visited Gumbasia in short form, but last year we at last rocketed this claymation into full-feature goodness. It's a visual and nonsensical wonderland composed of dogs who cry pearls, evil robot Gumbies, predatory farm loans, a legally actionable Groucho Marx caricature, not to mention the multiple musical sequences about Gumby and how great he is. Oh, and don't forget Gumby getting murdered with a lightsaber, then dividing into a dozen sentient Gumbies who collapse in on themselves. You know, for kids! The amount of turns this movie takes will leave you aghast, but they'll certainly have you laughing along the way. Pal around with your favorite blue demigod and annoying dinosaur buddies, and enjoy the ride. And that's the last 10 years of our best-selling riffs. Which ones were your favorite? Or are you surprised at some that didn't make the list? Here's to 10 more years of movie riffing goodness and more cinematic monstrosities discovered along the way.
It's time for RiffTrax.